Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, your ultimate agent of Ultra Action, X7, the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today is I thought it would be the penultimate episode, but now I've decided to do something a little different. And we have 3 more episodes left, sort of. We'll discuss that next week. But today we are going to be talking about episodes 36 and 37. And now the first episode here is, I liked it a lot more this time than I have previously. So that's a plus. It's called Don't Shoot Arashi. And it features the monster Zaragas. I don't know how you say it. Which is a pretty formidable creature, although pretty easily defeated, actually. And it was first aired in Japan on March 19th, 1967. And let's get on with it. So this is some park for children, all populated by children. And apparently everyone, these 3 Science Patrol members are just astounded by it. But there's suddenly a flash rang out. Thinking of, it was a dark and stormy night, but it was a bright and sunny day. And it cracks open the sky, which of course, it's an enclosed dome, which is made of reinforced concrete and steel, but it's huge. Can you imagine the amount of money that had to cost? And they would make it out of, why would they seal in the sun and make it out of plexiglass? Don't shoot Arashi. And we don't know what's going on yet, but Ito has a brand new idea for some weapon. And let's see if there's any trivia down here. Children's Hall is what it's called, at least in the Japanese dub. It's a really cool effect when you look at it, this sky breaking open. They would use it later on in Ultraman Ace quite a few times. They don't know what's going on, but they're on patrol. There's our obligatory VTOL shot. It's a lovely miniature. I mean, the miniatures are so good here. I miss actual miniatures. And here's another effects shot and another flash of light. And suddenly a plume of red smoke. Now this red smoke is not even remotely discussed. It just happens. And there is Zaragas, probably Zaragas. A monster that becomes stronger with each time it gets attacked, and it also has the ability to blind its victims. Arashi gets temporarily blinded, and made fun of a bit, and there he is in all his eminent glory. Now these are the U.S. dubs, so that's why the quality isn't quite as good as the Japanese ones, but it's more fun if you understand the episode really without it, especially if you're on assignment and studying something else. Once again, the red smoke, but it's never addressed. Zaragas is an interesting monster. It's, very bulky, very big. Not my favorite monster. I mean, it's lower in the, top 40, but low in the top 40. There we have Dr. Iwamura again, and the Science Patrol has now been ordered to quit shooting at the monster because it just gets stronger. And Ito there has a new gun, but can't use it. And he's asleep. He's just sitting there asleep. We don't even have a real, we don't even know why Zaragas is there. Let's see if I can find out a little more information here. Transformation Monster is its subtitle. Let's look at the trivia here. He doesn't show up again until Mega Monster Battle Ultra Galaxy, the movie. Suit actor is Kunio Suzuki. In the modern era, Gamora, blah, blah, blah. Same archetype. No. Zaragas roar is reused. Woo, woo! We see an anatomical drawing of Zaragas in Terror of Mechagodzilla. So, no, nothing else. That's really, it doesn't say anything else. So, sorry, Zaragas, you're just not. I mean, you're just kind of an odd-looking critter. There's a horn in its head, so you know what's going to happen there. Hayata gets blinded. It was rescuing children because when it shows up again. Arashi disobeys Captain Mura's orders and fires at the beast, which drives it berserk because that's a new invention that Ito made. Super strong, but and he gets branded as a traitor, or well, he gets kicked out of the science patrol. So he flies. So but apparently they don't get any of his clearance away, and he flies up in a VTOL. He's going to blast the monster again. Hayata's blind, but apparently can find his way out. I just like the shot here of him zeroing in, and there's the VTOL. Yeah, see, you can tell these are not quite as good as prints, but look, you can see the. I like the shots where they have the VTOL and the monster there, so you can see the size. Using the beta capsule, a blind Hayata becomes Ultraman. I like this shot too. That's so Ultraman's 50 meters, 150 feet ish. So how big is the VTOL? Can't be that big, can it? The battle is on. Ultraman wisely blocks the first flash of light. That's Zaragas can flash from both its front side and its back side to blind people. And he's busted the horn off already. And then Ultraman decides he needs to ride him like a horse. And of course, what happens? He goes blind. Look, his eyes are dark. So now both Hayata and Ultraman are temporarily blind. But he can still hear, so he gives Zaragas a boot to the head. I just like this shot as well. I think it's just very inventive. The circle with the monster's head. He's picked up a tower to bash Ultraman with. So he's a smart monster. Still blind. Suddenly his eye, and this is what he's seeing. So we see that he's not completely blind, but he can't tell. His eyes light up. Spacium beam, zap, kablooey! And Arashi gets reinstated. And now this is interesting when we look at the next episode with Ito's invention. And he's right. And then I believe this is the fourth command of the Science Patrol. All right, so there's our first episode, and we will go to part 2.
Ultraman, Ultraman, here he comes from the sky. Ultraman, Ultraman, watch our hero fly.
And he does fly a lot in this episode. So we start out at a department store when people are panicking. And there is the reason for their panic. A tiny little monster called Pigmon, who you will remember got killed in the battle against the first Red King way back about 34 episodes ago, 33 episodes ago, or I don't know, 30 episodes ago. Go figure. There's my higher math skills at work. So, of course, he's astounded to see himself and his first killer, Red King, and Kanegon in a toy store. He falls asleep. They call the Science Patrol, naturally. And they're like, what are you so scared about? He's a harmless little monster. And really he is. He's just a little thief. But he's asleep because he's tired. So they wake him up and they're like, well, let's take him back to Science Patrol headquarters. He's trying to tell us something. And boy, is he trying to tell us something. So they're recording him on analog equipment. It's just, look at this stuff. Now it's like your phone can do more than this and record longer. Oh, how times, and this is the far-flung future of 1983, you remember? Oscillating waves, which, defeated Titanosaurus. And this poor scientist is working really hard trying to figure out how to do this. But he's not having it. He does get it translated. But however, while this is all going on, Arashi's trying to invent a translator, but he's feeling kind of down because he's not getting to do his other jobs by refurbishing the weapons. And Arashi just rounds on him, considering he just got booted out of the Science Patrol last episode, and Ito had a great invention that destroyed the monster. Maybe Arashi should be a little nicer. This episode was first broadcast on March 26, 1967, once again directed by Kazuhi Matsuda, and then special effects by Sademasa Arakawa had a 42.8% viewer rating. That's pretty darn good, I think. Uh, so then we cut over here and we see Draco and Telsdon reviving. There's Telsdon, there's Draco, and they have a fight until some mysterious roar silences that makes them stop fighting. Dun dun dun. And let's see if we can. Oh, I guess let's go here. Let's see if we can find the translated message here. Nope. There it is.
Pigmon, we're ready for your monster talk.
Look how they're holding the phone up to him. That's Pigmon's monster talk.
Pigmon, is that true?
In 5 hours, over 60 monsters will attack the world. The only way this can be avoided is to have Geronimon destroyed before the attack.
Geronimon?
Geronimon is the chief of all the monsters. He holds a personal grudge against Ultraman and the Science Patrol. He is strong and has many weapons. End of message.
Very, very formal and actually anticipated Captain Mura's question about Geronimon. So Geronimon is a fascinating creature. Apparently, he's a necromancer and very powerful and very smart because he can bring monsters back to life, including Pigmon, who turned against him, or Garamon, if you saw him in Ultra Q when he was a giant and a little more menacing. But he's too darn cute, really. Pigmon's shown up in many Ultraman episodes, and he usually dies in all of them. He's a robot in the animated Ultraman, the Ultraman, and he dies in. I believe he dies in Ultraman Powered. I don't know. He dies a lot, and he always comes back because he's cute. So they're off to battle Geronimon, and there's the reinstituted Draco. I don't know if this is the first time the reincarnated monsters appear, but there they are both. You can't really see Telsdon over here, but I just love this shot with the VTOL in the foreground. And they're splitting up, and Ito and Hayata are battling Draco there, and Ito's looking for Ultraman to show up because he's sure Ultraman will show up and save them. The other three are battling Telsdon, and they zap him with all three of their guns, and it works. They kill him dead. So these reincarnated monsters, as we would see in the 70s with Kamen Rider and Go Ranger monster or Sentai monsters, if they're brought back, they're easily killed. They're just not nearly as powerful as they were in their own episodes. And it's a powerful weapon. It's making Draco bleed, but Hayata decides not using the beta capsule. Hayata does not become Ultraman. They try to get Ito out of his funk. Suddenly, Pigmon shows up. He's been told by Fuji to stay in the ship and be safe, but he disregards it, and he gets Draco's attention. And what happens? Scoosh! I tried to get it because you see a little puppet there, little red puppet, and he just scooshes him. Not bloody, just one like at least he didn't step on him, I suppose. And Hayata just rounds on Ito and gives him 5 across the eyes to snap him out of it. And he uses his new weapon, which disintegrates Draco, but much like it did when Draco's first episode, where it disintegrated Guigas all at once, but it was a different kind of weapon. And then we meet Geronimon, who is named after Geronimo. He is subtitled the Monster Chief. So now Pigmon did say he was the chief of all the monsters on the Earth. There weren't 60 monsters, so I don't know where the other ones would have come from. They still were missing 2 that weren't in the next episode. 3 that weren't on the Earth, so it wouldn't have been alien monsters, right? Although Draco is from outer space, so go figure. Let's see, it's got the etymology here. Yeah, it's from Geronimo, chief of the Chiricahua Kaha tribe of the Apache Native Americans. So, monster chief, and that's his headdress. It's Japan. Don't blame me. I'm just reporting. Geronimo's roars were heavily slowed down lion's roars. So he's a very powerful monster. And there they are fighting him, zapping him all at once. Using the beta capsule, Hayata finally becomes Ultraman. And he saves the three of them, Arashi, Fuji, and Captain Mura. There they are, thanking him. And then the battle begins. Now, Geronimo can control his feathers, which are sharp enough to pierce Ultraman's space-proof suit and cause him pain. And then finally, they chase him around too because they're flying. Ultraman zaps them with his spacium beam and jumps down and then does the old land on the back of Geronimo and and then whoop, 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 he turns him into Porcupine. Come on, Porcupine. You're growing a brain cell there. I try to think, but nothing happens. Which is part of his power, I guess. He has some kind of breath weapon, but there's the first time we see the Ultra Shield in use. Ultraman probably could have used that the coming episodes. Spoiler alert. It bounces back on him, and Ultraman picks him up. Arashi uses his new gun, and he blows up. They thank each other. Now he's all excited. We're such a great team. You should see us. He's like, there's one more hero here because you have another re-dead Pigmon. A deader. And Captain Mura institutes him as part of the science patrol. And I was going to play a little more of this stuff here. Let's see if we can find it. And you hear this.
Sir, with us.
Well, eventually, come on, guys.
Goodbye, Pigmon.
So yeah, you get taps for the monster, which is nice. Nice touch here. So this is 49. Yeah, I know. Just trying to. Oh, well, let's do this here. Nope, that didn't work at all. So that's the end of Pigmon and the end of the 37th episode. We have, like I said, 3 episodes left, and if you know, you know. But we will get to those. But until our next Ultra assignment. Oh, I was right. This is X7 signing off.